Hello everybody, welcome to the channel. Today we're going to answer the question, do bees eat their honey? But before we do that, we're going to learn all about bees and how they make honey. So let's get started. There are over 20,000 different species of bees worldwide. But they all share one thing in common, and that is to make honey. Honey is made from the nectar and pollen of plants. When bees fly from flower to flower, they collect nectar and pollen and store it in their honey stomachs. The nectar and pollen are then broken down and turned into honey by enzymes in the bee's stomach. The honey is stored in the honeycomb for later use. The process of making honey is called nectar collection, and it is done by special bees called honeybees. Nectar is a sugary liquid that is found in the plants, and it is what the bees use to make honey. To collect the nectar, the bees have special structures on their tongues called proboscis, which they use to suck the nectar out of the plant. They also have special hairs on their bodies that help them to collect pollen. The pollen is then carried back to the hive where it is used to make honey. The process of making honey is very labor-intensive, and it takes a lot of bees working together to make just one pot of honey. The bees have to fly thousands of miles to collect enough nectar and pollen, and they have to work around the clock to turn the nectar into honey. But the hard work is worth it, because honey is one of the most delicious and nutritious foods on earth. Now that we know how honey is made, let's answer the question, do bees eat their honey? The answer is yes, bees do eat their honey. In fact, they rely on it to survive. Honey is a great source of energy for bees, and they use it to fuel their flight muscles. It also contains important nutrients like vitamins and minerals that the bees need to stay healthy. When the honey is first made, it is stored in the honeycomb until it is needed. The bees can sense when the temperatures start to drop, and they know that they will need a source of energy to keep them warm. That's when they start eating the honey. The bees eat the honey by sucking it up through their proboscis. This is the same way that they drink the nectar from plants. While eating the honey, the bees also give off a small amount of heat. This helps to keep the hive warm during the winter months. The bees will continue to eat the honey until the temperatures rise again and the plants start producing nectar again. At this point, the bees will start collecting nectar and pollen from the plants and storing it in the honeycomb, and the cycle starts all over again. It is important that there is always some honey left in the honeycomb for the bees to eat. If the humans harvest all of the honey, the bees will starve. Therefore, it is important to leave some honey for the bees when harvesting. Some people believe that honey made by bees is somehow different from the honey that is bought at the grocery store. This is not true. The honey that is bought at the grocery store is the same honey that is made by bees. However, the grocery store honey may be pasteurized or filtered, which changes its texture and flavor. Raw honey has a thicker consistency and a more intense flavor than the honey that is sold in grocery stores. It also contains enzymes, pollen, and other beneficial substances that are removed during the processing of regular honey. Raw honey is unfiltered and unheated, so it retains all of its natural properties. It has a thick, cloudy appearance and a strong, distinct flavor. Raw honey also contains pollen and other particulates that give it a more rustic look. The flavor of raw honey is more intense than that of processed honey because it has not been diluted with water or high fructose corn syrup. Additionally, raw honey contains antioxidants, enzymes, and other beneficial substances that are removed during the processing of regular honey. These substances give raw honey its unique taste and texture and also provide several health benefits. So now you know how honey is made and you know that bees do eat their honey. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, give us a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this.